What's up, sons? It's Flying with Son of a Tech once again, and today we're going to go over masternodes real quick and just a basic overview and how you can analyze which masternodes you should be investing in, so stick around. Welcome back. So masternodes are essentially servers that are on the decentralized network of whichever currency you have of that particular masternode, and what they are utilized for is features such as direct send or insta send for Dash, for instance, and more private transactions over the network. And this is kind of where things get a little tricky, because people assume, which is never a good thing to do, that a masternode means that you are a proof of stake coin, when in fact this isn't typically true. And across most of the cryptocurrencies that support masternodes, this isn't true at all. They are mineable coins as well. Some off the top of my head are like Pearl, which is coming out with a masternode system, and they're on ETH. And then we have Desire as well, which is going to be a NeoScript coin. So those are a couple examples of masternodes that are not typically used for just proof of stake. And so I'm going to go over a little bit more here using the Masternodes.online system to talk about some of these coins and options you have. The other misconception is that you need a lot of money. This is because the first masternode system, or at least most popular, was Dash. And currently you're going to have to spend about $764,000 to obtain a Dash masternode. The thing is if you did have that money, you're talking about a 10% ROI. This isn't awful, but it's not great. And the reason I like masternodes is because it's just a next level of hodl. You're at the point now where you are not only invested in the coin itself, but now you're putting that investment to work for you while you sleep. And as we all know, the best way to sustain an income is to make your money work for you. So this is just putting the money you've already invested to work for you again. So while the coin is increasing in cost, you're also receiving a return of investment on it. To analyze these, you can hop into Masternodes online, or .online I should say, and just click one of the coins and it'll show you the return on investment yearly. And for example, chaincoin is one that I'm currently invested in, and it's a 53% return rate. Now I invested in chaincoin when the masternode was about $150. And now it's already up to about $327 in value, plus the return of coins that I'm getting. On top of that, it's a really solid investment. Now, if you're taking a look at the rest of these coins, I just urge you to go ahead and click through them, see what their estimated return on investment is, as well as go ahead and do some searches. For example, I have a Medium blog post up here about Desire and what they're offering. They're offering very similar things to Dash here. They're offering an instant send, they're offering a private send, and these are all things that are based on essentially the masternode system. And then they're offering the ASIC resistance with NeoScript. So you're talking about CPU and GPU mining. So it has all the popular all the popular keywords for a new cryptocurrency out right now. You can go through the rest of the graphs, etc., and make sure that you head on over to their website. We can click right there and check the team out and make sure it doesn't look like some derpy coin, which you can easily find on this website. So if we looked at like Coin ATX, okay, they're not that bad. I've seen some really bad ones at the bottom of the barrel here. I know Monaco Coin's one that a couple of people have been talking a lot about. You know, there's just some research you're going to have to do. The thing is, though, you aren't going to have to spend that much money to invest in one, as much as people always think you're going to have to. So even if you have a $1,500 investment, you know, you have the ability to find a couple cryptocurrencies that might be worth it. I just urge you to do your research. Now, the only other factor you're going to have to take into account is how you're going to host your masternode. So most masternodes are hosted on an Ubuntu server, so a headless Ubuntu server, which means you'll have to get a little bit familiar with Linux command line. And it's not that difficult, and we'll go over it in another video, but what that essentially means is you're going to have to allot for hosting fees. Now, there is the option of going to your ISP and requesting a static IP, which I would highly recommend looking into because they're not typically much more expensive than having a dynamic public IP. And in that case, you could host it out of your home, as long as you're at least a little bit savvy with whatever firewall securities you have going on, etc. And this will make things a little bit more difficult for you setting it up as well, because you're going to be having to open and forward ports, etc. But if you want to go ahead and do it in the cloud, that's also an option. There are websites such as Vultr, as well as DigitalOcean, where you can rent VPS solutions, which means virtual private servers. You'll be able to come in here and pick a server that fits the needs for whatever cryptocurrency you're hosting a node for. For the most part, you're only going to need like 20 gigabytes of storage with a gig or two of RAM. Most of the time, the recommended is one CPU with 2 gigs of RAM. This is a little bit larger storage than you would actually need, but for $10 a month, that's what it's going to cost you. You can also just pop on over to DigitalOcean and compare prices, etc., with whatever options they have in store. So if we head on over to DigitalOcean for pricing, we can kind of start comparing back and forth. We do see here that this one has 3 gigabytes of memory and 1 CPU and 20 gigabytes of SSD for $15. We can bump down here, but we start kind of getting too low on memory. So at this time, Vultr's kind of winning. And then you'll want to calculate the cost of the virtual private server in with, the allotted projection of return on investment before making a final decision on it. Of course, like I stated earlier, the cheapest and best option, if possible, is a static IP. Or if your business is already currently into cryptocurrency, like let's say you own a business and you already have a server environment or a virtual environment, something like VMware or Hyper-V, you could always spin one up on there as well, which personally is what I've done on our pool stacks, is that's where I keep my Masternodes. So that's kind of an overview. I hope you guys kind of got what you needed out of it. We'll go over the more granular details on how to set one up in a later video. I'm going to ask for some recommendations on what masternodes you would like to see set up. Keep in mind, obviously, I'm not going to spend almost $1 million on a Dash Masternode, so that's not going to happen. But if you find one that's reasonable, we'll talk about it and see if I can help you set one up. I might just show you guys how to set up a chaincoin one again, because I've already done it. And that'll probably be the first one we start with. But I do see that there are quite a few options here. I'm also interested in Desire personally, so I'm going to take a look at that one. Thanks for watching. As always, I'll see you next Tuesday.